Hi, my name's Nathan Nehus with ProjecTools, and you're watching a presentation that I made on the impact of cloud technology that was given at the 2013 PMI Houston Conference. Enjoy!
Alright, so like I was saying, I'm perfectly fine if we decide to derail a little. So to that end, if you guys want to talk about something, need some clarification on something, just shout out and I'll do my best to answer it. If it gets too detailed, we'll go offline with it. There are going to be a couple of times I actually ask for input. Please give me some input on that. Otherwise, it's going to be really boring. Like I said, my worst fear is to be the guy that's responsible for the death by PowerPoint, so I won't do that to you guys. The reason this slideshow is noticeably different than the one that you have in your hands, if you actually brought the slides, was because I had very little time to prepare it before we had to send the slides in. I'm the B team, but you guys are in good hands. A little bit about me. So I'm the channel manager for ProjecTools. ProjecTools is a cloud-based project management solution. I recruit and train and enable our partners to sell and service ProjecTools. My background, I had a degree in finance, spent a lot of time in scaling in software companies. I'm a U.S. Army veteran, spent some time in the military playing G.I. Joe. And then Stanford. That's probably been the coolest thing that I've done. I spent some time at Stanford in an entrepreneurial technology session, which led me to work with StartX, their accelerator there, and then Shasta Ventures there on Sand Hill Road. Oh, wrong one there. So you guys can connect with me. I'd love to hear from you after this if you guys like to do that. LinkedIn's probably the best way to get a hold of me. I do have a blog, but that's a fledgling effort. Don't judge me too harshly on that. On the actual cloud applications, here's what I believe about. I come from a smaller type of software company, so when I was brought into ProjecTools, there was a little bit of a learning curve. But here's what I believe about cloud technology. I believe business software applications exist for the sole purpose of making you work faster, easier, higher quality. I don't believe that you should buy a business application simply to have SAP on your resume, SAP installation on your resume. Business software applications should be available to every business and not just the big guys, and they should provide a competitive advantage. Personally, I like to do this. Sail, free dive in the Bahamas. But more about ProjecTools, right?
Look at the grass.
So, what is ProjecTools? ProjecTools provides a web-based project management solution for capital construction in the oil and gas companies. What does project management mean? Well, it means that we want to make sure everyone's building off the right revision of the right document. We want to make sure that all project status is known in real time and always available to all stakeholders. We want to make sure all changes and communication are recorded, that everyone knows what tasks they're assigned, and so that dependencies, all dependencies, are known and mapped. One of the most important things, at least in my mind, is that the project, or within our projects, the workflows are software errors, not human beings. Human beings have a tendency to make errors, use emotions more than judgment. Software doesn't do that. So that's one of the things we bring to the table. So what's the cloud? Some of you may know in much greater detail, maybe even than I, what cloud is. But the cloud, the origin of the term cloud computing, came from the practice of using drawings to represent networks and diagrams, computing, and communication systems. Cloud really means that we don't have to worry about the servers, the cooling, storage, space, backup. Most of us, cloud simply means that we can visit a website, log in, and have access to high quality, usually low cost software. But we'll talk about that more in a bit. Cloud is also known as a web application, software as a service, application service provider, on-demand software, or a hosted service. SaaS, though, especially, is more of a business model than an actual infrastructure delivery platform. So I'm actually going to give you a minute to read this slide. There's a lot of content on here. Sorry, guys in the back. There's really three types of clouds, and there's a variety. There's a million ways you can set these up. And To noticeably oversimplify it, I've divided it into public, hybrid, and private. Private exists within your organization, behind your firewall. A hybrid is between the two, and public means it's outside of your firewall. It does not mean, though, that it's based on Amazon Web Services. It does not mean it's public to everybody. There's a lot of security that we specifically put into this to ensure that your data stays safe. The truth is, with anything but public cloud, I just don't think the juice is worth the squeeze. It's incredibly expensive to deploy these other options. We'll do it. ProjecTools will do it. You guys want it, however you guys want to deploy ProjecTools, will do it. It's no problem. But it's remarkably expensive for the company. I want to be clear here, public cloud is not hosted on Amazon Web Services. It simply means that the web app is outside of your company's firewall, but securely inside our application. So for ProjecTools and most other enterprise-class cloud computing companies, we buy our own equipment, manage our own software stacks, and then we put them in data centers with world-class security. We'll touch on security a little bit later again. But for this reason, I want to point out that public cloud really isn't public. Once again, we spend an exorbitant amount of money ensuring that the security of your data, far more than you would spend if the application was hosted in-house. There's a lot of mistrust about the cloud, but I do think it's largely a function of resistance to change. In some cases, the cloud computing companies are doing a very good job educating. The good news is that we're trying to do a better job educating, and I'll show you a little bit more on examples of that here in a minute. So, an example of people's, I think, preconceived notions about the cloud. The other day, I was eating dinner with a family friend, and she asked what I was doing afterwards, and I said something to the effect of, I'm going home to work on this presentation. He says, I don't know anything about the cloud. I'd like to see the presentation. The only thing I know about the cloud is I don't trust it. And I said, well, that's great. Do you use any applications, any web apps? She said, yeah, sure. I use Netflix, Pandora, Dropbox. I said, you do realize those are all deployed in the cloud? And she said, no, I had no idea. So that is, I think, probably a really good indication that people don't understand the cloud. The point of the story isn't about her, though. It's that even people who don't know anything about the cloud, don't trust it. It's largely a function of lack of education. So, we're going to rehash this once more. When someone says cloud, this is what they mean. The cloud doesn't mean the information is just up there floating around. For the rest of this presentation, this is what we're talking about. The data resides in our app. There are no capital expenditures. And it's very, very cost effective. We're going to see a little bit more on this in a minute.